I don't know what Tyga was thinking. I don't know why he would do this to his own legacy and career, but his desire to grift every single trend and the tenacity in which he grifts every single trend in music the last 15 years is the reason why Tyga is in this position. Y'all remember when streaming had the explosion? You know what Tyga did? He hopped on streaming and became a streamer. Now, again, get your money, man, ride the waves, but at some point it becomes soulless. Right? When Old Town Road was popping with Lil Nas X, when country became a wave, Tyga hopped on the country wave. But if we're talking as of lately, why everybody is upset at Tyga actually stems from Fenix Flexin. So Fenix Flexin is a West Coast artist, a rapper, and he recently dropped a song that was completely AI. Now, the song was 80s themed, right? The shock value and the shock factor of this dude with face tattoos and a rapper dropping this 80s like themed music like took a lot of people off guard, but it worked, right? The song is on Billboard, it went massively viral, and Tyga, just like clockwork, seeing somebody going viral for something particularly new and innovative, even though it's AI, Tyga, just like clockwork, decided, yeah, I'm gonna be an 80s themed artist as well. It's just soulless, bro. No soul in it. Just completely, you know what? He's going viral, I'ma jack that style. But Tyga took it a step far. Instead of dropping just one AI song, which, by the way, Fenix Flexin lied about that song not being AI for a very, 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 very long time until he couldn't lie anymore and then finally admitting it. But Tyga decided he was going to announce that he was dropping an entire AI album. The entire album was going to be 80s themed, Jack and Fenix Flexin entire style, but also making it AI. And people were not having this, bro, right? People were pissed off at this. This was not something that people looked at and admired. And it showed in the reception and the backlash. Because when the album dropped, Pitchfork gave the album a 0 out of 10. And they grilled Tyga and really drilled into him that, this AI nonsense and his soulless music won't be respected. In the review, Pitchfork wrote, if you want to get a sense of what Starface actually sounds like, I suggest going to the free-to-use music AI music generator Treblo, allegedly the one that Fenix Flexin used to create his hit Rubbers, and type it in the following tags: Tyga, 1980s, synth pop, new wave, 80s pop, Tyga, suck Thriller Sips. They actually made the claim that they were personally able to generate a song that sounded like Starface, assuming it had included a song about a critic trying to write a review of a Tyga album. Now, they will also call out Tyga for initially lying. So they says Tyga implied this album was 100% human-made initially, even down to the mixing. Again, this is like a Tyga quote. We used a lot of old hardware, he told people, citing a very specific examples of delays, harmonizers. Everything that we used was stuff that they used in the 80s. But then a week later, all right, when asked by Vibe if he used AI on a record, he pulled an about face and says, for sure. He defended himself by claiming that the public's negative attitude towards AI tools is similar to how people felt about early auto-tune use. There's nothing wrong with using technology as a tool. Okay, now, my perspective on that, okay? Now, me particularly, if the song sounds good, I don't care if they use AI. Playboy Cardi used AI, I didn't really care about it. My only problem with Fenix Flexin was he lied, right, about using AI. But there are a lot of music purists who really care about this and who really, 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 really have a problem with Tyga and others using AI to generate full songs. They feel like it's wrong. They don't like it at all. Now, my only problem was they lied. And then with Tyga, my problem with Tyga is it just feels like, bro, I don't know who Tyga is. Like, I don't know what Tyga sound is. Tyga rides every wave that comes, and I just think that's corny. But the issue that people have with Tyga isn't even just a music purist stance, because you got music purists like Anthony Fantano and then non-purists and a casual like Penguin Zero, who they both have expressed their issue with Tyga in both massively viral videos.
0 out of 10 is more rare than a 10 out of 10. Throughout my life, I struggle to think of a single thing or experience that I would rate 0. I had a cystoscopy a long time ago, which is where they put a light tube down your dick hole and then steered around with a little wheel like they're in a racing sim. And even that, I wouldn't give a 0 to. And yet, today I just learned that Pitchfork gave Tyga's new album Starface a 0.0 out of 10. And I couldn't even imagine what that would look like, because to me that means it doesn't even work. Like you can't even listen to it. It doesn't turn on. And even if this was a completely blank record where not a single sound came through, just sensory deprivation, that probably also wouldn't have got it a 0 out of 10 either. Because, I mean, we have history to draw on. John Cage 433, which is 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence. That's like kind of a beloved piece. Granted, it's more of an art piece than it is music per se, but that also wasn't a 0 out of 10. So if Tyga had just released the sound of crickets and ambient noise, probably would have performed better than his new album here. I had to know how abominable this piece of shit was to get a 0.0 out of 10. So I took the plunge, and I get it. 0 out of 10 is generous. Like, this should be like almost like a misdemeanor crime. It's so bad. What he did is he released an AI-generated album. He wanted to reinvent himself, so instead, he didn't invent anything. He just asked AI to make Tyga sound like an 80s artist, and he released an AI-generated album. Oh, it's so pathetic. It's actually painfully pathetic. Also, big shout out to Doja Cat, because she also talked about it on her stream, just completely unprompted, about how much of a loser you have to be to release an AI album.
Nobody asked me anything about Tyga, but I just felt like saying this. Tyga is a penis for making an AI album.
Doja's motivation for calling out Tyga is obviously a lot different than that of Fantano's or Penguin Z. And that's because Doja is an actual artist. She's a rapper. It's kind of like when you see like delivery drivers, like they're like kicking over and like breaking like the robo things that deliver food now automatically for DoorDash. And the reason why they're breaking it is because they believe that these things are replacing them or replacing their jobs, right? Or you'll see people like throw things at Waymo because they believe that Waymo is taking away jobs from Uber drivers and cab drivers. Doja believes that what Tyga is doing is literally contributing to probably like the eradication of their particular genre and their job, which is if these like AI models are able to like plug in, without license, by the way, right? And without permission, they can take Doja Cat's music, Tyga music, and pretty much build these models up. And eventually they're gonna have a better version of Doja Cat that Doja Cat can produce, right? So what Tyga is like, they're looking at Tyga like, bro, you have no soul. Like, you're willing to literally like sell us out if it means like, I don't know, man, like making a quick buck. And they feel like that's just wrong. They don't like it at all. Now, Tyga did respond back to these allegations or these accusations on TMZ. And I'll be real with y'all, bro, he didn't really say much.
Just say, going into this, that Pitchfork gave you a 0 out of 10, which hasn't happened in 19 years. And it's pretty clear they're doing it because of AI. So what do you think of all of this?
Listen, I don't really know what Pitchfork is. All I know is the devil uses a pitchfork. That's all I know.
What do you think of the AI controversy generally? Because there are some people saying you shouldn't do it.
Well, the context is, unfortunately for Gen Z, they can't read. So nobody reads, you know what I mean? And what I said was, I used AI assisted things in the production. I said, all the vocals are me. I wrote all the songs. When it comes to the 80 cents and some of the guitar solos, yes, I used AI for that, but I didn't make a full AI album. It's not what I did. I was in the studio 3 months working on this, but it's just, it's at the end of the day, it's like, I'm just I'm a small piece of the puzzle in this bigger conversation, and it's really not my fight. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just telling people, because I like to be honest with the listeners of, kind of like how I used it, but I didn't, I indeed wrote the songs and that those are my vocals, you know what I'm saying? We use some AI sounds in the production, but we still created everything. As an artist that's been doing this for so long, I don't care. I don't mind it. I don't care. Like, I'm not scared for my position or scared because at the end of the day, I'm better than the AI, and I've proven that for the last 15 years. So it doesn't bother somebody like me.
Even his response, like he's wearing like the 80s gimmick. He's now smoking cigarettes. We've never seen him do this during interviews. Like, Tyga does not embody what a music purist would say is a pure artist, right? Like Doja Cat, she does her gimmicks, but for the most part, you could tell Doja Cat cares about the craft. Artist cares about the craft. Tyga don't care about the craft, man, like at all. And Tyga has never cared about the craft. So to be fair, this is not brand new for him. But even like this gimmick, man, like even like, oh my God, man. My major problem is it just feels like biting. Like Fenix Flexin came out with this like quote unquote new theme or new style, and you ain't even give Fenix Flexin, I don't know, a week to enjoy his style and genre, even though his is like AI too, right? Yeah, man. So this didn't help at all, like not one bit. Now, Anthony Fantano had his response to Tyga, and here's what he had to say. Now, this is the music purist point of view. Please don't kill me, right? Because some people, for the most part, don't like Fantano. I'm just calling him what he calls himself, which is a music purist. So here's what he has to say in regards to Tyga.
Now, since the release of this record, it has come out that Tyga did actually use AI in the creative process, but even he was not completely honest with this fact out of the gate with this Starface record. And while we don't have full details on that yet, personally, I'm inclined to believe that it's probably more than he's willing to let on, just like Fenix.
I suspect Tyga is lying about that too, because Tyga came out and says he's only using the AI for the instruments. Man, cut it out, bro. He claims he wrote every single word. He used his vocal. He actually performed the vocal. He went in a booth and actually sung into the mic. I'm not believing that at all. Like, I think Tyga underestimated the backlash he was gonna get for using the AI. So now he's trying to like roll it back and dial it back in. But I think it's too late. He already opened up like Pandora box. Right, and nobody is happy about this. Not even the people who listen to Tyga routinely. Even they aren't happy about this. Now, it's unclear exactly how much Tyga is going to sell first week. I would imagine probably under 10,000 for sure.
In fact, there are elements of the 10 tracks on this album that lead me to believe that they are entirely wholly AI generated, which I will get into, but first, let me say this. Presuming charitably that this album was only 25% AI generated, and quantify that however you want, the fact still remains that this record serves as an example of the most disgusting and annoying and cynical use case for this technology, insofar as using it to just generate music and upload it to the internet. Because here you have an artist who clearly is at a complete loss as to what to do in terms of the next step of his career. And so what does he do? He just looks at the charts and picks the one thing that stands out in terms of a new direction or trend or sound that's grabbing some people's ears, and then heads to what is essentially a musical Xerox and just pumps out 10 random, low-grade, low-effort songs and just plops it onto streaming. Like, literally the act of treating music purely like a commodity, purely like a product, a commercial product, like a consumable, flavorless, industrial goop that you just package and put on the store shelf for a super cheap price so as many people buy it as possible. This album is the reduction of the artistic, of the creative process simply down to that. It's a simple, cliche formula followed by a machine and then has Tyga's name slapped on top of it, except not really, because in order to justify this genre shift, Tyga came up with this whole different persona, this Starface persona.
I think shame and the underlying subconscious has a lot to do with that alter ego or that name change for the album. Because I don't think personally that Tyga feels proud of this project. Like, I don't think Tyga hears this project or know the process that went into this project and thinks, oh man, yeah, bro, I want this work to follow my legacy forever. So that's why he probably took it from underneath Tyga and put it under this alter ego, right? Because I don't think Tyga truly in his heart will feel proud of somebody going back 10 years from now or 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, and going back to this Tyga album and looking at it and saying, man, this is Tyga's new project. I don't feel like Tyga will be proud of this project. Which lies the other question. If you're not proud of this and you don't want to put your name on it, then why even do it? Why even drop it? Why?
Not only in order to sell people on this musical change here, but also, I think to give himself personally a bit of a degree of separation, because really, truly, how much of him is actually going into this project? Let's get into the sound and direction of this album, though. Look, this is essentially the record that you would be handed if you went into any generative music platform and typed in the term 80s with a bunch of other tags and just repeated that process over and over and over and over. Because as somebody who actually loves and is passionate about a lot of 80s music, there's no real one direction or sound or style or influence that is kind of like a continuous thread through all of these songs. This is a record that would only feel consistent and would only feel thematic to you if you were looking at the 80s from a bird's eye view, maybe even from a lack of experience, like you didn't live through any segment of 80s music at all. So to you, yeah, maybe at a distance, contemporary R&B and synth funk and synth pop and new jack swing and new wave and freestyle, maybe all of these genres sound the same to you, because again, these were all sounds and styles that were prevalent throughout the 1980s. And if you lived during that time, all of these genres were very distinct movements that were super separate, for the most part separate, and had very distinct pioneers and artists that were at the forefronts of these movements. And through Tyga releasing this album that is just this complete mishmash of ill-defined 80s slop, it sort of creates this closed loop where the reference points are kind of scuffed.
Honest to God, I tried to listen to it, probably got through about 2 songs. And at no point in listening to those 2 songs did I think, yeah, Tyga really cares about this resurgence. Man, Tyga really wants to pay homage to that era of music. Oh man, Tyga was a really big fan of that era. And never in my listening experience did that come across as that. It came across as, okay, yeah, Tyga tried to make a quick buck. And that was it. Like that was it. Now, Fantano did us all a favor because I was not going to listen to this. He actually listened to the album and he took away exactly what my thoughts were, which is this was by no means paying homage, you know, and also he actually pointed out like certain things that Tyga lied about, because Tyga would claim that he barely used AI, that AI was probably used for like instruments and stuff like that or like beats. However, according to Fantano, when he listened to the album, you could very easily tell that certain aspects of this, including entire songs, were just straight up generated by these AI music generators.
And you're not actually doing this out of celebration or out of adoration for the artists who created these sounds and styles in the first place. Instead, what you end up getting is a series of tracks that have no consistency, no vision, no direction, and just sound like watered down versions of the most popular, most accessible things that sort of represent that era musically. So you have songs on this thing that sound like a much worse version of like a Prince hit or two. Almost like you took Steve Lacy and at gunpoint forced him to record 3, 4, 5 Prince ripoffs in the studio. You've got tracks on this thing where the synths and bass lines feel like a blatant Rick James ripoff. And if you're at all familiar with 80s hits, or especially like novelty 80s hits, you know how weird and corny anomalies like Eddie Murphy's Party All the Time are. And yet so much of the material on this album feels like an even weaker version of that. Not to mention on at least several songs here, I'm kind of getting big Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me vibes too. It feels like whatever AI Tyga used to generate the production on this record was just trained on a sampler of like the biggest 80s hits and that's it. So like not only is the vagueness, the lack of specificity in terms of how this record approaches 80s vibes kind of a tell in terms of it being AI, but also consistently across this record, you have these like kind of scratchy, scuffed vocals where it sounds like on song after song, the highs have been like kind of rolled off, like the treble is super low and the vocals are a little muddy, which is an effect I imagine kind of comes by way of these programs being trained on so much older music where the production and recordings aren't so clear. And there is kind of a vintage scratchiness and dustiness to the way some of the instrumentation, especially the vocals, sound. But then to hear that carry over onto these modern iterations of these styles through these generated pieces of music, it just feels very out of place, anachronistic. Not only that, but there are like some very weird, off-putting production choices that just don't really make sense.
There's a couple lessons to pull from this, but I feel like the most important lesson here is outside of, hey man, just do everything with integrity, morals, and principles. But the truth of the matter here is, even with like pretty privilege or handsome privilege, you know, or talented privilege, if you're gonna do something, right, that you believe is somewhat unethical or that most people will see as unethical or a really bad thing, you probably want to do that really bad thing in the best way possible. Like Fenix Flexin, all right, when he dropped the smash, he dropped the banger, he dropped the hit. And even though people can be upset and they look at Fenix Flexin like, bro, you is just a sellout, the song itself, it being AI generated, is kind of undeniable. So because of that, right, because of that record, Fenix Flexin has kind of been able to, like, he has gotten a bunch of backlash, but the backlash has not stopped the record from going on Billboard. Tyga don't got a record on Billboard as AI. He just don't got it because the records are terrible, right? So if you're gonna get the backlash, at least be rewarded with a Billboard hit like Fenix Flexin, right? Where like he can like cry to the bank. Tyga, on one hand, he just ruined his legacy and his career, and he gained nothing from it. All right, but y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? Do y'all have a problem with Tyga using AI for this entire album? Let me know. If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here to find out why Adam22 has a really terrible problem on his hands. I'm gonna see you guys in this Adam22 video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.